The weight is being added on both sides. The heft, the fatness of the vocal is being added by these two channels. Hi everyone, welcome to EXILE MIXES. As you can see here, I'm in a totally new space. I'm totally grateful for this. And at this point, I might insert a couple of photos for you to see this new space. Because I have mentioned this in my previous video, so now I'm here. I have made the move. So anyway, for this episode, we'll be doing a vocal thickening technique. I've seen this technique taught on YouTube, but mostly they are in the box. And for this episode, we'll be doing it with an analog mixing console, which is the Soundcraft Signature 22 MTK. So let's get on with it. The objective of this exercise is to add weight to a vocal track. So what we have here is a recording session from a few years back that I had. It's a cover recorded by my friend Haley, who has a fantastic voice, by the way. She covered Why Don't You Do Right from the film Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's quite a sultry song from that movie. It's attached to the identity of Jessica Rabbit. The session is, if you can see on my Logic Pro session, I have a lot of tracks. They're all bus to one stereo vocal bus. Well, we're only going to use one of those tracks because that's what I chose. These are just several takes of the same song. First, we're going to output the single track that I've chosen out to channel 8 on the Soundcraft. So now we'll be having the audio come through channel 8. So first things first, on the Soundcraft, you have to depress the USB return button on the selected channel that you're passing audio through from the DAW. My DAW, by the way, is a Logic Pro. And now we're passing audio. You can't hear anything yet because you have to first set up the mixer. Since this is a vocal, I'm going to depress also the high pass filter. It's 100 hertz on this particular mixer. And EQs are on neutral, no auxes, and down to the fader. There's no audio yet. Now we have to pass audio from this channel to the master. So on the routing switch on this channel, we depress master. Yeah, we have audio now. Why don't you do right? Yeah, again, if I haven't mentioned this, for this exercise, or the way I usually do it is on the DAW, I do all my compressing. So on this DAW, on this take, I have used a Waves CLA2A. And after that, Waves CLA 76 to maximize compression, to catch the peaks. And to smoothen the audio, I use the LA2A for that reason, the CLA2A. And I think to add presence, I used an RVox from Waves as well. If you don't like Waves, you can use other brands of plugins. So that is what's coming out through this channel now. Now we have to EQ this. Let's add a bit of 12K. Like some other men do. Let's add crispness to the upper mids. Get out of here. Yeah, sounds nice now. Get me some money too. Let's remove some of a little bit of muddiness. You're sitting down and wondering what it's okay, now we have a clear vocal. So that is one. And now we have to, the way I said before is when I do the parallel mixing, the parallel compressing here is when I send the same vocal take to a vocal bus, and which is also sent here on a stereo pair. So it is being sent to 11 and 12. So I'm going to depress the USB return buttons of 11 and 12, channels 11 and 12, and then also the high pass filter. And depress the master send routing switches on these two channels. And then remember the pan, because it is from a stereo channel and they're being fromed out to both channels here. So the other is one, the other is left, and the other is right. So we can have that stereo effect.
Like some other men do.
Okay, that was too much. Let's wait for the next cycle, because I'm just looping this audio from this session. So, okay, now the logic of this is the mono vocal is our center. It holds the mono center. And then the weight is being added on both sides. The heft, the fatness of the vocal is being added by these two channels. So we're trying to be subtle here, so we're adding it a little bit like this. So now we have accomplished one way of doing this. As you have noticed, we still have a lot of headroom. And looking at the peak meter in the DAW, we're only getting minus 16. My goal is around minus 6, minus 3 at the most peak. Going back to the DAW. So there's one tip that I can show you. We can send this to the same mix, the single vocal and the stereo bus, to subgroup 1 and 2. So first we'll depress that send buttons to the master of this subgroup.
Get out of here and get me some money too.
Now we have the full signal. Okay, well,
Why
almost.
Don't you do
Okay, we have a healthy signal. Then you might ask, where's the music? The music is being sent to 13 and 14. So 13 and 14 is here. I'm not going to depress the high pass filters because this is a full range signal coming through, stereo signal from the music. This is a karaoke background from YouTube, by the way. So just a taste of it so that you'll have something to at least get a taste of how she sounds against the music, with the music.
22.
Before you do that, you have to send it to master.
Who love you? Why don't you do right? Like some
Sounds softer. So we'll do a parallel mix. Send it to groups 3 and 4. We'll do the same with the vocal.
Get out of here.
Keep the master send button to the master.
And get me some money too.
Send the signal to the master.
You're sitting down and wondering what it's all about.
Now, there's one more thing to do.
Got no money, they will put you out. Why don't you do right?
He sounds fantastic now with the music, but we'll add a bit more space to both right and left. So the way we do that is we set up an effects change. So first I usually use a plate on the lexicon on board the Soundcraft, and then I use a gated reverb, and then we'll send both to the master, and we'll send both to the vocal submix. So we'll have that same parallel mix going. So we'll add it this way.
Why don't you do right? Like some other men do.
So now you have had that full mix going. So we'll do another pass so that you can hear how it sounds with all these things going on.
You have plenty money, 1922. You let other woman make her who love you. Why don't you do right? Like some other men do. Get out of here and get me some money too. You're sitting down and wondering what it's all about. You ain't got no money, they will put you out. Why don't you do right? Like some other men do. Get out of here and get me some money too. Get out of here and get me some money too. Why don't you do right? Like some other men do.
Okay, now there's another way to do this. I'm gonna show you now on screen some cables. I have 2 sets of cables, one pair left and right, which will be attached to the outputs of subgroups 1 and 2, and then they'll be sent to channels 9 and 10 as the stereo return, and this will be set up as a loop back. First, so that you won't be confused, we'll be turning off all the sends that we have done here, so we won't be making a mistake, to avoid mistakes, because you'll get a nasty feedback or overload of the signal if you make a mistake here. So I'll explain that. So now you have seen the cables that we've shown you. You have seen me attaching it to groups 1 and 2, and 3 and 4, and 3 and 4. That's why I'm using 2 pairs, because we're sending the music separately, and we're sending the music out to group 3 and 4. And the outputs of that for the music will be sending it to a stereo return channel, channels 15 and 16, which is a stereo channel. It's just one fader. So first, we're not sending to the master. Remember that. We're not sending to the master. The vocal, you will send to group 1 and 2. Sorry, this is the vocal. So it is being sent here. And the master send of this group is not being depressed, so that you won't overload the master section. That's what I was talking about. If you, by accident, loop it back to where they came from, it'll create this crazy feedback loop, which just happened. So now you know why we don't do that, which I'm guilty of just doing now. I hope I didn't blow up my monitors. Next, the stereo bus of the vocals will be sending it to the same group. And now they're out there and they'll be sent back here. And remember, once you have the stereo, how to set up the stereo return is you don't depress the USB return buttons, since you are using the external input of this mixer. So no USB return, but since this is the vocal, we'll still be depressing the high pass filter. For this to work, we have to get audio, we will depress master. Take note, you're sending the vocals to the group 1, no master, okay? No master. And here also no sending to the master, just straight out back here. And then this stereo return channels, this set will be sending to the master. That is what the final signal will be. So you have to turn on the gain buttons, turn the gain knobs.
Why don't you do right?
Okay, we have signal,
like
and
some
now,
other men do.
okay, and
get out of here.
The effects, you have to do the same.
And get me some money too.
You can even back it up a little bit if it's too much for you.
Get out of here and get me some money too.
Okay, the music we're sending to the second group.
Why don't
group
you
3, 4.
do right?
And back here,
like
send to the master.
Some other men do.
Now for the full mix.
You have plenty money, 1922. You let other woman make her who love you. Why don't you do right? Like some other men do. Get out of here and get me some money too. You're sitting down and wondering what it's all about. You ain't got no money, they will put you out. Why don't you do right? Like some other men do. Get out of here and get me some money too. Get out of here and get me some money too. Why don't you do right like some other men do?
So, I hope you have learned a little bit from that exercise. And if you have your own mixing process or some tips to share, please comment below. Until then, see you next time. Thanks for watching. Cheers.